Hello YouTube, Matt here from Forensics with Matt, and in today's video I'm going to be talking to you guys about the certification that I'm taking right now and why it might be good for you if you're looking for a certification in the digital forensics space. So with that said, let's get into this. Hey everybody, really quickly I want to let you know that I'm sponsored by an affiliate link for BlueCape Security and my Substack page, which are both linked in the description. But as for BlueCape Security, because you guys probably already know about my Substack page, if you don't know about BlueCape Security is very cool for you because they're a training platform that offers you some very cool training for cybersecurity. And in doing this, they have both free offerings, which are things like this DFIR Foundations tracks, and some ransomware and command and control series stuff, as well as MLDoc and other things like that. But if you want to upgrade to the paid track, you can, for $1,500, get a full set of courses that cover anywhere from SOC operations and enterprise defense in Windows to disk and memory forensics, and even advanced incident response and ransomware at enterprise scale stuff. And another cool thing that you get from this hero bundle that's only $1,500 and which would probably be way more expensive on other platforms is a free certification included, as well as 12 months of free lab access and also 12 months of access to their platform to complete this. So it's easily a great deal for you if you need very complex security training, and I would highly recommend it because I've taken it before on a previous account, and I learned a lot from it. And with that being said, if you don't want to just hear it from me, you can hear it from a bunch of people here in the testimonials. You can pause the video wherever you see the testimonials, and you also have a little bit more about what each package includes here, so you can read that on your own time. But I'm pretty sure that you will enjoy BlueCape Security if you try it out. So just take the free courses to start, and if you're really interested in doing more, you can buy any of these courses as well as the hero bundle, and I get 20% back from that, and you get the satisfaction of learning cybersecurity if you take on the challenge of doing these courses. So with that being said, let's get back into the video, and I hope you can check out BlueCape Security with my link in the description. Okay, so welcome back to the video, everyone, and let's get into this. So the certification that I'm taking right now is called the ICMDE, or the IACIS Certified Mobile Device Examiner. And the reason why I'm taking this is because, as you can see from previous videos on the channel and some of my blog posts, I'm extremely interested in mobile forensics. And because of that, I want to have a professional certification in that so that I can show others who may be employing me in the future or who just want to look at my profile that I'm knowledgeable in digital forensics, and maybe I can get work at some point in that field. But so this course, as I've taken it, is very rigorous for me, and it'll probably be very vigorous for you. So my experience in this mobile forensics space is, I'm pretty sure, pretty intermediate level. So I can assume that most of you that are at my level or slightly below it will enjoy this test and have a good time with it. And so what it includes is, it includes a course. You can either choose to take that course or not take the course at least. But in my case, I took it because I wanted to see what new stuff that I could learn. But with this course, you get a bunch of materials. So I can't show you specifically what the materials are, but you get stuff for Android practical, iOS practical, and some SQLite stuff too. And you also get a bundle of software, which I think is okay to share. So you can install most of this stuff on your own or get it from your own from sources, but they give it to you anyways. And so I think all of these are available from their sources and they just grab them. But actually, some of these files in this folder are things that I've put in here for certain programs. Say for instance, I think this iOS notes.pl has some files like hashes and hashes.txt, which I grabbed from an iOS notes.SQLite database, because that was the hashed password to something. And after grabbing that, I was able to turn it into an actual password with Hashcat. And this is a word list right here that I use to crack a certain password hash with Hashcat. And so, speaking of Hashcat, I've taught you how to do things with Hashcat on a Linux system, so you can always use some of the resources here with your Linux system too. And so once you're done with the course, which will give you, I believe, 38 hours of material that are based on the three things that I said, which are the SQLite, the iOS, and the Android. And in my case, the Android stuff was last, and the iOS stuff was before that, and the SQLite stuff was before that, and your order of that may be different, but I think it's pretty much always the same. But so after that, you get 2 exams, and this is where the rigor comes in. So first of all, the first exam is a pretty simple and straightforward exam that has elements of the practical concepts, which are things like how SQLite works, what Android databases hold things, what iOS databases hold things, and how to decode some of the simple data types in Android and iOS, for instance. There are many other things on that test, and you'll be able to see them once you take that test. And now the second test is where it gets fun. And the fun part of this test is that you get folders like these, so you get a certain character. So in my case, there were characters named Leila Crooks and Cameron Scamwell. And that's all that I want to say for fear of breaking my NDA on this. And so one had an iOS extraction and one had an Android extraction, and we had to go through those images and find a litany of things, and we got 2 days to do this, and this was probably more than enough time to do it, but I took around the 2 days because of checking stuff, and I had several several questions in there that were hard for me to answer, and I had to do a triple take or double takes and triple takes in order to find that the answers to those questions were not present in the image given. And because of that, I ended up emailing the exam administrators, and I haven't gotten confirmation from them that those are in fact not in the images, and what I have to do to at least find them. But hopefully get that, but I'm not crossing my fingers for that, because that could constitute cheating. And why I actually did that is because the passing score is pretty high for this one. So you have to get a passing score of 80%. And naturally, the reason why I did this is because I got below 80%, and that was a very big disappointment to me, and I wanted to make it clear to them that I studied for this test and I know what I'm doing. And I do get a second attempt at this, so if I end up doing a final review of this, I'll report back my findings on the second one, or well, at least I'll report back what I think of it overall after I take the second one. But as for now, I'm still studying for the second one and trying to find all of the things that I missed on the first one. And so as I'm highlighting right here, if I do something as dumb as failing the second time around, I have to rebuy the test, and I have to email an administrator of the test, and I have to see how they will allow me to take the test. And yeah, it even says here on the documentation that they recommend to re-review the material to make sure that you get it fully correct and you find the things that you miss. And so honestly, I would recommend taking maybe even a fourth look at the questions if you take this, because if you fail it, you can determine the ones that you most know that you got wrong, and you can memorize those questions and try to find them within the image. And I think it's technically against the NDA to write them down, but I am neither confirming nor denying that writing them down is a good idea, but do what you would like. And if you're watching this and you're an IACIS person, you work at IACIS, don't really look into me, because I'm just here to help anyone else taking this test to pass it and not have to pay extra money doing a third or any attempt after the third. But anyways, this is pretty cut and dry, so my final advice to you on this would be to really know how to find iOS stuff in an iOS image and in an Android image, because during the practical tests, there's some very interesting artifacts that you may be asked to find that are not easily able to be found by just regular apps and other stuff. And you might have something that's initially unable to be found by most tools, such as the open source ones and other tools that you may have in your arsenal, and you may have to dig deeper into the iOS or Android image to find what you need to find. And as a result of that, extra time will be taken during the test, and you may have to even take extra time outside of work and testing time to research and make test data for finding those things. And that's always fun, and I hope you guys have fun taking this test, and I hope you guys at least pass it and get this data point on your resume and on your portfolio or whatever else you put it on. And you get to brag about this to employers and other people who want to hear about it. And with that being said, this has been Matt talking about IACIS Certified Mobile Device Examiner Test. I hope you learned something about it, and I hope this inspires you to take, because it's mostly a better certification for you than many other ones that are just multiple choice or just basically conceptual. And with that being said, until next time, Matt out.